Okay, hi everybody. I'm Jessica O'Neill, and I am the Vice President of Communication for this term. And my presentation is thus on communication. That rhymed. So, how you can use social media in your council. You can use it to share events with other people in your council. So, if all of the councils follow each other on Instagram, or have each other on Snapchat, or have each other on Facebook, then they know about other people's events. And then you can encourage crews to connect with other crews through publicizing trainings and pictures of activities that you've done. So then they can be like, oh, that's a cool activity. What was that? Are you hosting that again? Then you make more scouting friends. And then it can also encourage attendance to your council events. So, you know how they're publicizing the gathering while we were here? Yep. That is what? Encouraging attendance to council events. So, popular social media platforms. Instagram. How many of you used Instagram? Yeah, that's what I thought. And how many of you guys use Facebook?
I haven't.
And then Snapchat.
Me.
So, Instagram.
Wait, we forgot one. We forgot Chat.
Chit-chat, and how many of you use Chit-chat?
You can't use chit-chat, not read.
Oh yeah, Kiwi?
MeWe.
It's the new thing.
It's a new social media.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Or TikTok.
So, Instagram.
TikTok. We need an area TikTok.
So the Instagram typically appeals to the younger generation. If we see adults on there, we probably don't want them on there.
Could you say that a little more tactfully?
I'm just kidding, we
You don't want to offend Tom.
And then Facebook, which typically appeals to the more mature generation. And so,
What's the those of us who's 29?
yes.
More seasoned.
So, using these two forms of social media in conjunction can get you to publicize your events to all kinds of people. So, we also have Snapchat. Snapchat is not like a constant use thing, but it can be if you have enough people following it. But what it's really useful for is at events, if there are people signing in, you can have your Snapchats like written up so they can they can friend you on Snapchat, and thus throughout the event, then you can send out updates on their Snapchat if they're just like, ooh, I wonder what's going on, just go hit their Snapchat story and then you know what's happening. So, how should we use social media? You can use it to post activities your council's units have participated in. So as a council VOA, you have many units, and your units will probably find you on social media. And if you see posts about things that they've done, or you decide you want to open it up, like put it on your Instagram story, you're like, hey, send us pictures of cool activities you've done, and then you can post and promote little things that crews in your council have done and little successes. And then you can also post upcoming trainings that you or others are hosting or are involved in. And that way you can open up these trainings, if you desire to other people. So units can host a training and have other units attend, and also you can have a council-wide training. Oh yeah. Don't forget to consider the Scout Oath and Law before every post. We want to make sure they're kind, they're not judgmental. Just remember the Scout Oath and Law. We all know the Scout Oath and Law, right? Do we need it?
What is that? I've never heard of that before.
Oh, wait.
Do you think we need to do it? I feel like we need to do it.
I think we need to do it.
We didn't do it.
Everybody stand and join me in
at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A
Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
2. That was so good, guys. So now that I know you all know it, I expect to see that you were thinking about it before you post on social media. So, building a roster, another way to stay connected. It's recommended that you contact your Scout executive for information of the advisor and the president of each of your council. Having this information is beneficial because if you want membership or simply people to come to your council events, you can easily contact individual crews with your information rather than them having to search for you, or if they wanted to search for you, then that's also good too. Because having everybody's information is always useful. Website building for councils. It's not required, not every council has it, but we definitely recommend it. It's a way for people to easily get information, and if they have any questions and they want to ask people in the Council VOA, they easily have an access to that contact information. So some things you want to put on your website is information about units in your council and where they are located, the contact information of the officers and perhaps other units in the council, upcoming events hosted by the council or by units in the council, links to the crew application form, and also the VOA application form. And then any other general information you deem that is Scout appropriate, photographs of the officers and advisors, which can be included with their contact information.
So about that,
Yeah.
you can't use your personal email or your personal cell numbers for youth. I think the advisors are allowed to do that. Are the advisors allowed to post their contact information?
Simply speaking, you should only put your area or region emails, the ones that the Gmail accounts that are specifically set up for each of the positions. That way, it's record on there, everybody above you has access to it. Anytime you get something, anytime you respond, copy your advisors on it. But yeah, only use those publicly. Because at some point your personal email will get on the list and be like, hey, I'm not involved anymore, or hey, I'm not involved in scouting or the area or the whatever, and it continues to go to the same person. And B, it's not putting out your personal info, because have you thought about what your personal email usernames are? My first name, my last name, the year I was born, that's all personal information that you can put out and find you and start mailing you and stuff like that. So just use the generic ones that we set up for your actual positions.
Yeah, like in the area VOA, our emails for each position is like Area 2, SRV, and then Communication or Administration. So that's also a good thing to create for your crews, is make a Gmail with, or VOAs, is to make a Gmail of the person, like their position. And then a link to the Southern Region Area 2 website. So if they're wanting to look into more area-wide events, they can go to our website and find that easily accessible, or simply more activities that aren't even in their council. So remember to keep it updated. You should be updating it every 2 weeks or so, because it's always good to have updated information. If you don't like looking at it being like, well, that event was 2 weeks ago and it says it's still coming up.
The other thing is, if your council decides to not do a website, which is understandable, it takes a lot of manpower to put one up, and it may not be the most important thing on your list. Instead of doing these things for your own website, each council has a sub-page on the area website. So if you just email me, Jessica, or Ann, what we can do is, as you want stuff on your sub-page, we can put that there, and that way y'all don't have to set up a website if that's not feasible for you.
Yes. And then inter-VOA communication. To ensure the VOA is communicating, we like to respond to GroupMe messages. So if you're on GroupMe or Slack or just text, there are many forms of communication. On GroupMe though, we use, if you like something that somebody said, we know that you've read it. Or if you simply comment, gotcha, I'll be there, things like that. And then reply, whenever you get an email, make sure you reply received. I know Amy touched on this earlier, but always reply to your emails within 48 hours, like she said. So you're not sitting there wondering, is this gonna get done? The deadline's in a week. You're not leaving the person who emailed you wondering. And then make sure that the established deadlines are achieved. An easy way of doing this is creating a Google Calendar that has the dates clearly stated of when the president wants it done by, and when they want it completely published and out by.
So for example, all of my officers, I set up a Google Calendar. They all have their own special one. So Jessica's, for instance, what I do is every 15 days I do an update. So on the 15th of every month, I email them and I'm like, here are the assignments that you have upcoming and here are the things that are due then, right? And so a check-in for me is, I'm like, you have 15 days until this deadline is in. What do you have? I need to see that you have something. And then 15 days following is their deadline, right? And that gives me some time to be able to communicate with them about whether or not they've accomplished their task, like if there's anything impeding them from completing their task. And then it's also like clearly known to them like when stuff is due. Because that's like a really easy pitfall to fall in. It's like, oh, I need this done. And they're like, okay. And then they never get it done because in their mind there's no deadline, which means it's whenever for them, right? So you need to have deadlines and you need to be enforcing them and you need to have them publicly located so that at any time they can find what's due when and when you're expecting to hear from them for updates. That's just my tangent.
Yeah. So you can also store things in Google Docs. We like all these Google things, right? Gmail, Google Docs. Because on Google Docs, multiple people can be looking at a document at the same time, which is very useful if you're having like online meetings and you all want to be looking at the same notes or the same document. It's very feasible, and you can each edit it and see what kind of progress is being done on something. And then communicating with your Area 2 VOA, because that's also very important. We probably all have our social media platforms at this point. I saw a bunch of you adding the Snapchat. I've been posting a lot on there. If you have it, it's fun. The Instagram, we always post updates on the Instagram with little countdowns in the story and posts about council events that are coming up, and also area events and national events. So, our social media platforms, if any of you don't have it, you can
Take a photo.
Yeah, if you guys need to like
Get your
scan it,
phone out.
do
The
all
little Snapchat thing is a QR code.
the Instagram thing works too.
Did you see that I picked the mountain emoji as the
I
background?
liked that.
Thank you. I thought it was very venturing themed.
I saw that the other day when I was making the newsletter. I was
Should be
like,
good.
mountain.
You should be the color free.
It wouldn't let me choose it. They just let you pick an emoji as the background, and I picked mountains.
That's
All right, and
Alright.
since nobody got their phones out, I'm guessing everyone's already following all three of those.
You should be.
Yep.